Ever since I was little, I've been a very introverted person, and I used to look at this as a bad thing, as something that would hold me back from reaching my goals and dreams in life. But as I've gotten older, worked different jobs, started different businesses, and now run my digital marketing agency, I've started to realize that being an introvert is actually a superpower and can help you be more successful as an agency owner or just a business owner in general. So if you're an introvert watching this, there's still hope for you in being successful as a business or agency owner, and I'm going to explain to you why. Growing up, I was always really shy and quiet, and I still am to this day, believe it or not. I know I make these videos and I might seem like an extrovert, but talking to a camera is way easier for me than talking to a real person or a group of people. And I think a big part of it is just my own insecurities. I'm scared to say something wrong and offend somebody, or I'm scared to try to crack a joke and people think it's not funny and they think I'm annoying, or I'm scared to talk too much and people think I'm self-centered, or I'm scared to ask too many questions and people think I'm interrogating them. And I promise I'm not sharing this to be like, oh, pity me, poor Jasper. There's a point I'm trying to make with this. After high school, I got my first job at an Anytime Fitness. It was hourly plus commission, and the commission was for if I sold any memberships to people who came in the gym. And when people would come in, I would be so scared to say something wrong or do something wrong in the sales pitch that I would hide in the office, close the door, and I would pretend like I didn't see them. They'd walk around for a little bit, couldn't find anybody, and then they'd walk out. And my boss could see all the people coming in on the security cameras. He'd text me and he'd call me and say, hey, did you sell that person? And I would pretend like I didn't know that they were there. I'd just pretend like I didn't know what was going on, and he'd get so mad at me because I wasn't selling these memberships. Needless to say, I did not end up working at that job for very long. After that, I ended up going to college, and I was still just very introverted. I'd get excited to go to parties and excited for these get-togethers, but then when I was actually there, I didn't end up talking to anybody, didn't end up meeting anybody, and my social battery would just drain so fast, and a lot of times I'd end up leaving the party or the get-together early. And my dating life was even worse. I didn't go on a single date with a girl my whole first 2 semesters of college. And it just kind of crushed my confidence and kind of crushed my spirits of like what I was hoping to get out of college. And then things started to change as the summer rolled around. My best friend growing up convinced me to go do door-to-door sales with him out in California selling solar panels. I know, introvert Jasper going and knocking on doors all day trying to sell people solar panels. In hindsight, I was crazy for doing it. But my buddy was like, these guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars in just 4 months selling solar panels door to door. I was broke at the time. I needed the money. And so I decided to do it. The first month was the worst month ever. It was extremely difficult. I didn't sell a single deal, and I knocked like all day, every day for a month straight. And my confidence was starting to disappear. But one thing I started to notice was this other salesman in our group was absolutely crushing it. He had made $100,000 in commissions in just 1 month. And the weird thing was, he was the most shy and quiet guy that I'd ever met, even more introverted than I was. And one night we were hanging out at the house. I just went up and asked him, I'm like, hey, how are you making so many sales being as introverted as you are? And he shared with me a book called The Introverts Edge, How the Quiet and Shy Can Outsell Anyone. And so I took this book, and over the next week, I finished the book, and it completely changed my mindset on being an introvert in business and sales. And within the next month, I'd become one of the top salespeople in the solar company that I worked for. And I want to share with you what I learned from this book. The first thing I learned from this book is that introverts don't run off of emotional energy like extroverts do. If an extroverted person is door knocking or cold calling or doing any type of cold outreach for their agency or their business or just anything they're selling, and they get rejection, they get people telling them no or hanging up on them or slamming the door in their face or cussing them out, they run off of that emotional energy, and so it eats at them and it becomes hard for them to continue to go. Whereas with introverts, we don't run off that emotional energy. That's not what fuels us. And so we have a superpower where we can take rejection all day, every day, and continue to push forward. The second principle is that introverts are better at following scripts and processes than extroverts are. An extroverted person, if they're trying to follow a sales script or an onboarding process, they'll more likely get off script or off process because their energy and emotion will take over. Whereas introverts don't run off of energy and emotion, and so we can more closely follow a script and follow an onboarding process for our clients as an agency or just any business, and we can get more replicable results every single time. And the third principle from the book is that introverts just don't get distracted as easily. One, because we just don't have as many friends because we're an introvert, but also just we don't need to be at social events all the time and hanging out with our friends and on the phone with them and texting them all the time and just have these external distractions, we can sit there and we can focus on the tasks at hand, and we can get more work done because we don't let external and social factors drive us. And so if you're an introvert, then these 3 principles will be your superpower and will help you grow an agency or a business so much faster and so much bigger, because rejection doesn't faze you. You can follow scripts and processes super easily, and you just don't let the external factors and social factors distract you. And so you're actually the perfect candidate to be a successful agency or business owner. And if you're looking to start your own digital marketing agency, then feel free to join my free high-level quest community down below. It has my whole free course in it that walks through A to Z how to start and scale your own agency. And even if you're an introvert, you can do it too. Peace.